Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. Tonight we're going to have some fun. We are making two recipes tonight that are really kid friendly, and I'm saying kid friendly. Yes, they're going to love them, but I also think with a little supervision they can also make them. You know, I know that as parents we are so busy trying to get home, trying to get dinner on the table, and trying to take care of our family that sometimes it's not the place that we bring our kids in and let them actually have an active part in it. But the kitchen is such a fun place to be. I didn't really grow up cooking a lot. Probably the same thing with my mom, just trying to get things done. But I tell you what happens when you get grandkids, you have all the time in the world. So I know our granddaughter started cooking before she could stand up to the counter. She'd crack my eggs, she'd do my stirring. So just let them have an opportunity to try something. Tonight's recipes are going to be something that they can start with, hopefully. And like I said, a little supervision is all it's going to take. And then you'll be able to actually have a meal that they have prepared. This one's simple, not many ingredients. We have on the stove, this is a deep dish pizza. So while we're talking, let me just get this going and then I'll show you my pizza kit, because that's what I'm using, a pizza kit. This is just the sauce out of our kit. This is what we have. It's called the pizza maker. We use this, I've used it forever. But let me tell you, you get, and I've already got the dough going, so we'll look at that in just a second, but you get a dough enough for a deep dish pizza or two single regular pizzas. You get the actual pizza maker sauce, which is what you just saw me pour in. And you just want that to kind of incorporate really well with whatever meat you're using. If your kids don't like sausage, maybe it's hamburger. Maybe you got pepperoni. Whatever your kids like, make this your very own, what they like, what they would eat. And if they've made it, they're going to be so proud to serve it to their family. This recipe comes to me from a good friend, Denese Estep, that I have known almost my whole life. The same way with the next recipe we're going to do tonight. But I remember going to Denise's house. I couldn't have been more than just maybe a teenager, maybe not. But she made this for me. And it was so fabulous. I, for one, couldn't believe she did it. But we have made it since then. And I promise, it had to have been in the 70s, early 70s maybe. But we have been making it that long. And my kids make it. We all make it. So anyway, that's the kit. And this kit, I think it's like $3. So that gives you your crust, it gives you your sauce. And you know, it used to come with a little cheese packet. I guess little Chef Boyardee had to make some cuts because there's no little cheese packet. But we've got some fabulous cheeses that we're going to use. So I'm not worried about that. But that's what you grab. Okay, we've got this simmering away. I am making this for me and my husband. So instead of just a sausage, which is perfect and delicious, I'm going to add just a little mushroom and jalapeno that I've got over here. But let me get that in so it can be warming up with this. Because you're going to cook it for 25 minutes, I believe. You just want everything to be warm. So while that's heating up, let me turn it up just a little bit. Let's get our crust ready. We follow directions on this box. We mixed our mixed our dough, and we just, it's been setting for 20 minutes because I wanted to try this. This is something I hadn't seen before. This tells me that we can make a soft dough by letting it set a little bit longer. So that's what we're trying today. But you get your pan. This is an 8 by 11 because you want it to be nice and thick. This is going to be a deep dish pizza. We are done with that. And just like I've said before, I've got my hands all in this, so I like to wear my gloves. Did I mention my name of my friend, Denese Estep? She's one of my favorite people in the world. It's like having another sister. So that's how much it meant to me to have her in my life when I was growing up. Okay, I have poured that out. You see it is a big, thick crust. What you're going to do, or big, thick dough, you're going to work it around. Oh, I like the way this feels. It is nice and thick. Now, we've made all kinds of pizza doughs. They're not that hard to make, but this is what's in the kit. So there's no reason not to try it. And you spread it out real good. it's going to grow. It's going to be thick. When it comes out of the oven, you're going to be impressed because it looks like something that you've bought in the pizzeria. Okay, we're going to let that go. What you do first, we've got a couple of different cheeses that we're going to use. But this is a mozzarella. I had the sliced mozzarella from when I made the lasagna last week or week before last. So I'm just putting some sliced mozzarella on the bottom. Then we're going to, as soon as our sauce is nice and warm, which is completely cooked. So if it doesn't get really hot, we're okay. Everything is completely cooked. That is going to be some delicious cheese. This has got a little edge on it. Let me just kind of pinch off some pieces over here to make sure we have cheese all over. Okay. That's your first layer. And now we're going to put our topping or filling or whatever you want to call it, since this is a stuffed little pizza, a deep dish pizza. Oops. Let me get this up here. It's just whatever meat you want to use. If you don't want to use meat, if you just want to use veggies, whatever you want to do. This one tonight has got sausage, mushroom, and jalapenos, only because that's our favorite pizza. Doesn't that look good? Okay, now, because we didn't have the Parmesan cheese, we are going to put some on that some wonderful friends of ours have given us. They actually had a wheel of cheese sent from Italy. And they cut us off a piece and sent it over, not knowing I was going to use it for this pizza, but that's exactly what I'm going to do. So it was from, I would have loved to have seen it, a big wheel of cheese. But this is the Parmesan Reggiano. It's really pretty strong, so I'm going to be pretty sparing with it, because sometimes we like to put a little, you know, Parmesan on it when it comes out of the oven too, when we're serving it. So that's what we're going to put in the oven. Doesn't that look wonderful? Super easy. The only thing your kids might need help with would be what they do on the stove or even putting it in the oven. But I would totally trust Michaela to do this, and she wouldn't need any help at all. So we're going into the oven at 375. I'm going to check it at 25 minutes because it's so thick. I just need to make sure everything's cooked. We just need to melt the cheese and make sure the crust is nice and bubbly and brown. And we will meet you back here while this is cooking. I've got another special recipe that we're going to try. Welcome back. I'm in my baking mode, so I've got my glasses on because I've got to be specific with my measurements. We are making fudgy cookies, and this is something that I think any child could do. The only part that you might need to help them with is what's on the stove. But it is easy, and it's so fun. And you know, we've made these cookies. We started making these cookies, I had to be not even a teenager. And my mom and dad were friends with another couple. And my dad and her dad went to meetings once a month. And so the family would come to our house. And it was Denise Nobles, her mom and dad, and Lollie is the one that would make these cookies. But once a month at least, and if they had a special meeting, we'd have cookies again. So that's how long I've been making them. And these are our go-to cookies when it snows. So if it snows, you know you're having cookies that day. So the recipe is simple. That's why I think it would be awesome to let your kids take an active part in it. We call them fudgy cookies. Some people call them no-bake cookies. There's all kinds of names for them. But I've gotten it to this point. Let me tell you where we're at. I have doubled this recipe, so I'm just going to tell you what the regular recipe calls for. But just know that mine is doubled. I've got new neighbors. They've got little kids. I'm taking them some cookies. In this pot, we have 2 cups of sugar, 1/4 a cup of cocoa, 1/2 a cup of milk, and a stick of butter. I have mixed that together and I let it boil for 2 minutes. It has just finished that time, so let me add a teaspoon of vanilla. But now don't get confused. I'm making 2. This is just a pure vanilla extract, absolutely something I would use anytime I'm baking. The only time I really use that vanilla bean paste that I told y'all about was when it's pretty special. Not that cookies aren't special, every cookie's special, but just regular vanilla extract is perfect. Then we're going to add into this a half a cup of peanut butter. This is so nice and hot that peanut butter is going to just melt down. And remember, for my neighbors, we'll get that stirred up. You know, I'm a pretty sentimental person. You probably can tell that by my videos. I talk about people all the time. But, you know, one of the most important things to me in my life is my family. So, and these people that I share their names and they've helped me out with giving me recipes and different things, they're just like family almost to me too. So I am sentimental. It is important to me. Family's the utmost importance. But when you work and you have other people that you've spent so much of your life with, they're just like family. They're just not blood, but they're family. So this needs to melt down. You know what's funny about these cookies while this is melting, let me tell you. If it's humid or if the humidity is really low, I mean, it's different. They act different. But I think it's pretty good today. It's another hot one here. So we're just about all melted down. But what we'll do once we get this all melted together, and you can tell easily because you see there's little swirls of peanut butter going through this chocolate, and as soon as those swirls are all gone, I'm going to add this big mound of oats. For your regular recipe, what we added was the 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Let me get just a pinch of salt. It's wanting me to put just a pinch of salt. We do have an awful lot of sweet going on here. So we put our peanut butter. It looks well incorporated to me. We're going to start adding our oats. I think I'll add half. I'll add half on the counter. No, not on the counter, all of it, but I'll add some in here. You know, you just have to grin and bear it and move on. Especially when you get excited, getting close to having cookies. I probably didn't need that, it's not very much. Get that all stirred in. Makes you feel better about eating them because they've got so many oats in them, doesn't it? That's my story. So you're getting that all mixed together, making sure you get all that good chocolate off the bottom. When you see these come out, you're going to say, I know what kind of cookie that is. They even sell these at Walmart. And how simple is this? What is it, 7 or 8 ingredients? That's all there is. Don't y'all worry about this oats. We'll get that later. I'm just going to, let me move this out of the way. Pull these over a little bit closer, because heaven help us if I should have another calamity. Move this over. And this is what I'm going to do. We just take a scoop of these cookies out onto your aluminum foil. We're going to fill this up. I've got 2 sheets of foil. If I need more, I can pull out another one. But we will let these set and harden. And by the time our pizza is out of the oven, these cookies will be ready to enjoy. I'm so excited. The pizza is ready. I can't wait for y'all to see it. Let me get it out of the oven. Our timer just went off. Oh my heavens. That looks fabulous. This is just so simple. And if your kids helped make this, don't you know they would eat a lot of it? Hey, fill it with vegetables. They'll think it's great. Or you have them fill it with vegetables. What I'm going to do, I put a little bit of this Parmesan on top of it that my friends brought me. Randy and Catherine, thank you so very much. We are just going to put a little bit more fresh on top. We'll let it set a few minutes before we cut it, so you probably won't see that. Really and truly, if you can let it set 5 minutes or so, that would be ideal because it is so piping hot. We've done that thanks to my good friend Denese Estep back when I was 10, 11, 12. We've made these delicious cookies by the aid of Lollie Nobles recipe. and Nisi and I ate more than we should ever talk about. But we doubled the recipe, and it was super simple as well. Your kids can do it. They can share it. They can enjoy it. It's just a wonderful thing to do. Let your kids get in the kitchen. Enjoy the time together. I can only tell you it goes by fast, really fast. So, cookies for my neighbor, cookies for us to enjoy, and anybody else. Delicious pizza, and it was done really quickly. So, thanks for being with me tonight. Thanks for listening to my little stories. Trip down memory lane. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy.